All right, now it's gonna be the last video of the day, and I'm gonna talk about change. The other day we were talking about. I think we spent a lot of time talking about self persona and the ego, and now I want to talk about change, and anyway. So let's get into that. Sometimes when people change, it has big effects, right? There's a lot of people are unhappy, a lot of people are happy and whatnot. For me, being genuine my whole life, you know, it's an important thing for me to be genuine to myself. Even when I change and grow. But right now, what it's about is, when you change very drastically, people are upset, people are not upset and whatnot. You know what I mean? And that's what I want to get into. I feel like, for the type of person that I am, that I was and whatnot, genuinely being somebody who was pretty much a child, whether it's an older child or not, pretty much as being a child, you seem to be attracted by different things. You can get duped by different things, what's cool right now, what's not cool. You know what I mean? What's more, something that I like more, and I'm gonna get with that. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's temporary or whatever. I'm getting with this right now. This is my trend. This is my thing that I'm doing. We used to, you know what I mean? And sometimes your immaturity is what people like. You know what I mean? Your immaturity or things that you used to do is what people like, and that's one of the biggest things that happens. When a boy becomes a man, everybody talks about and misses what that boy was before he became a man. Prior to becoming a man, he used to do this, he used to do that, and this was funny, that was funny. Now he doesn't want to do a lot of those things. He acts like a man now, and he wants to do everything like a grown man would do, genuinely. And another thing I wanted to talk about is as good as someone can be at being a child. They can be that good as an adult and a man as well. You know what I mean? As good as you were, while being a child, and as good as you did, and as good as people looked at you as, now that you're a man, everybody's, looking at you that way. It's almost like, listen, finding out who you really are, being who you really are, while you're an adult, it's a big thing, and you don't need influence to do that. You do not need influence to do that. If a young baby, if a newborn baby can learn, change, and grow, and you know what I mean, an adult can do the same thing. Young babies can do it. Young babies can change and grow and grow different personalities and grow different everything. So an adult can definitely do that too. But yeah, as good as you were as a child, I mean, if you were good at being a child, you should be good at being a man. And if you're genuinely a man and you're good at it, I mean, there's absolutely nothing that you're lacking. Right. So I wanted to kind of talk about that. There might be other things that I want to talk about. Yeah, I mean that's it, and there's some things that don't really even need to be said. As a proper man, what are you listening to and what are you going with? That's a big deal too. Also, I mean, as an adult, it doesn't matter who's influencing you. When you're an adult and you're a man, it doesn't matter about who's influencing you, because you're moving in the direction that you are anyways. There are some children who people love as children, and then they become an adult and nobody likes them anymore. Macaulay Culkin was a good example. Home Alone. I mean, that kid, I think like he was like 9 years old or something at the it wasn't the Grammys, it was whatever Oscar nomination or whatever it was. That movie did very well, and he showed up like driving himself or something, driving a car in, or I don't know what it was, but it was a big deal. Everybody was obsessed with him. He was a child star. He was like royalty out there. He was so famous and loved. He turns into an adult, becomes a drug addict, leaves everything to do very hardcore drugs, parties and does drugs all the time. He's a total loser. He was loved as a child and now he's a total loser. But you know what, man? When you become an adult, you find out who you always were. And that's why the adult world is more powerful. I know that because I know that I've seen it. There's kids and they're kids, and some of them even get bullied and stuff. And I've seen this. Some of them will be getting bullied and then they turn adult and now they're the bullying the same kids that were bullying them. I've seen that happen in front of my face. Guys turn adult and all of a sudden it's like, no, I'm going to bully you. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Because when you become an adult, you become who you really are. When you're a child, you're just under the influence of older people pretty much. You know what I mean? You need people to take care of you. You need people to do this for you and do that for you. You need people to guide you, tell you what to think and how to think. And when you're an adult, it's a totally different thing. But I felt like pointing it out. A lot of people, why is this change? Why is that change? It's crazy because, when I talk about times when I was most like myself, I was 18 years old. So hitting 18, like literally 18 years old on my birthday, I go to the beer store, right? And I get myself a Corona. That's my first beer, my first alcoholic drink. And I drink it. A nice cold brew. Or I shouldn't say cold brew, but a nice cold Corona. Bottle of Corona. Right? Literally, I started behaving and becoming something that was like catching like people's attentions. Damn, man, this guy's so natural with it, man. He's so goddamn natural with what he's doing. He's just, without even thinking, he's just naturally something that's just insane. People start murmuring and talking and about the guy, And years later, is he the same? Nah, maybe he's not the same guy or whatever. But, like I said, dude, after I robbed the bank, it was normal to say that stuff. Before it was whispered and it was kept kind of secret. And once I robbed the bank, everybody was talking about the way I was like, now could talk about it a little bit openly, a little bit louder and a little bit openly. And those secret murmurs became talk. You know what I mean? Because who wants to say that their child is a bank robber? You know what I mean? But your child is a genuine bank robber, or even if it's not your child, this kid that is a bank robber now. You ready to associate with him? You know what I mean? That kind of thing, Now people could kind of be more open about it, People are making new stuff. People are releasing stuff from way before, and it's like now it's getting released. And now we're hearing it, even though it was about all that time ago. You know what I mean? So 2015 spring was when I robbed that bank. So, but it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. At that point, it was like, this guy is so much like himself. And I would have never done that had I not been pushed to the absolute brink. Like for persona and self, persona and ego. Like I had no other choice at that moment, for myself. And I did that for myself, for my persona and ego. I had to do that, and I did what I had to do, which was rob that motherfucking bank. You know what I mean? It is what it is, man. Somebody becomes an adult, and it's a different situation all of a sudden. You know what I mean? They become adults. You see, look at that. You see how when I put it closer? You see, because I'm holding this right now. If I don't hold it, I do that. It looks black. Look, it looks black, right? It's right? Look at that. Bring it in close. Look at that. You see that? You see what I mean? You see that stuff? You see it? I mean, so that is what it is. I knew who I was, and then I robbed that bank, and now it was cool, and it was cool to well, this guy is a bank robber, You know what I mean? But there were people who are already saying that this guy's a robber, this guy's right, and then he's an actual bank robber. It's like, okay, we were saying that, and that's exactly what happened, and that's exactly what became. Took a long time, but it became. I'm proud that it took that long, because as a kid, I was doing everything that a kid was supposed to do. I was always being criticized because I would always do what I was supposed to do versus people who wanted to do whatever they wanted to do. So I was always being criticized, told that I even when I was younger, that I don't party enough, that I don't have enough friends, that, you know, I don't smoke cigarettes, that I don't smoke weed, that I don't drink alcohol, you know, that I'm into strategy games on the computer, you know, that I'm into playing PlayStation, that I'm into music and watching movies by myself. You know what I mean? I was always being criticized, told that I wasn't cool enough, you know, that I wasn't cool. You know, people would say that all the time. If you ask anybody that went to school with me, you know, nobody would say that I was like the cool kid or whatever. Everybody would tell you that I was a nerd, you know, and I didn't like that word. I didn't like when people said that, but I knew that it was true. I was a nerd at the end of the day, you know, and I was always being criticized about it. Oh, he doesn't have that many, oh, he doesn't really have any friends. He doesn't have a girlfriend. He doesn't go to prom. He doesn't go to school dances. He doesn't, you know what I mean? And I was always being hit by that. But I always did what I was supposed to do regardless. And as an adult, I'm doing what an adult would do. You know, and that's who I am genuinely, you know, it's called growth, you know? Yeah, I mean, nobody likes that, man. When people like things, you could do the dumbest things as a child, okay? You could do dumb, stupid things that makes people laugh. And now that you're an adult and you're not doing that anymore, people don't like it. Now that you are who you always were, who they knew you always were, people don't like it. Go back to who you were. It doesn't work like that. Not when you go from being a child to being an adult, you know? Is there anything? No, that's all. I just wanted to talk about change and all that. And I mean, like, I'm not gonna go into specifics, but adults, like men, think different than boys. You know, men think and behave and do things way differently than boys. And you know, everybody knows that. There's a big difference between what a boy would do and what a man would do. Sometimes girls like what boys do. You know, oh, he's a boy. Oh my God, he just like chased after me, you know. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. I'm not chasing any girls as an adult, man. I'm not chasing after a girlfriend. You know what I mean? And I'm not thinking that way as a boy. You know, as a boy, you kind of more, you know, you think and do things differently. As a man, you think and do things differently. You know what I mean? It's a big difference. All right. Anyways, I'm done. And isn't that cool? Look at that. And then hold on, bring it in. Right? And look at that. All right, hold on. We don't even have the light perfectly in here, but if I did that, look at that. Right? Look at that. All right. All right, I'm done. Good night.